Hello, everybody, and welcome to this EURASHE webinar for membership. So that is for existing members and anybody who's interested in possibly becoming a member in the future. And we have a good program for you explaining what EURASHE is, in case you're new to EURASHE, what we do, and why it's a good idea to be a member. But before we go into all of that, we also have a couple of members who will give their reasons for being a member of EURASHE. But before we go into that, I would like to just pass over to the president of EURASHE, Hannes Hafesida, for his welcome words. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Very warm welcome to this webinar also from my side in my role as the president of EURASHE. I'm pretty sure you're all aware, in a nutshell, EURASHE calls itself, we are the voice of applied universities in Europe. If we consider just recent developments in Europe, I'm sure you are aware about the competitive report from Mario Draghi. You may have heard the speech of Ursula von der Leyen as the new president of the European Commission. You're also aware about the report of Mr. Letta about the fifth freedom for Europe and all these issues. I think it's very clear that there is a strong momentum for our kind of universities, our kind of higher education institutions. It's all about skills, preparing the right skills, closing or bridging the skills gaps. It's all about speeding up the transfer from fundamental research into businesses, and of course applied research is a key topic in this aspect. I think it's all about the diversity of European research regions, and I think this is also another topic, what EURASHE stands for and where we act. So there are lots of opportunities, and I think it's important to join all our forces to really reach the goals, to really make an impact on European for the European society. And I think this is one of the many aspects what EURASHE stands for. So I think we are far away from being a, let's say, UAS only club. EURASHE is open for all kinds of universities, with whether there are comprehensive, research-intensive ones, or universities of applied sciences, or colleges, or whatever. All kinds of higher education institutions that intend to promote professional higher education, applied research and innovation, all kinds of higher education institutions that stand and serve for their regions. Everyone is welcome, and let's join our forces. And my last sentence, of course, we are happy if new members join and all the existing members stay with EURASHE. If you want to really have a benefit out of your membership, I think it's really important, at least this is our experience. It's important that you are as active as possible. We have the various groups, the sounding board for European University Alliances that we started recently, our communities of practice, our annual conference, the workshops as we had. I really enjoyed just only a few days ago, I would say, in Marseille, and I'm really happy that the colleagues are also with us today. Many options, many opportunities, so please please get in touch with us, stay active, let's interact, and yeah, be stronger together and have an impact on the European higher education landscape and our whole continent. Thanks for joining for today, and have a good, informative webinar.
Okay, thank you, Hannes. Fantastic, motivating us there, and I'll try and carry on in that positive spirit. If I ask my colleagues to share the slides, here we go. We've got some slides for you. I've got a lot to get through in less than an hour now, so I'll be as brief as possible. And of course, you can always contact us in the Secretariat to get more information about any of the things that we'll mention today. So let's start, please. If we go to the next slide, and I can just tell you briefly what the program is. So we've had the welcome from Hannes. I'm going to tell you basically what EURASHE is. I mean, Hannes has mentioned a few things already, but what it is and what we do. And then we're going to hand over to one of our newest members, Aix-Marseille University, Hannes mentioned, for a testimonial about why Aix-Marseille joined and what it gets out of EURASHE. In between that and our second testimonial, we've got a video to show you about the next annual conference in Portugal, and to explain why, what are the main benefits of being in EURASHE, and if you wish to join, how to do so. So let's go quickly on, if we can. As was mentioned, the name is the European Association for Applied Sciences and Higher Education, but it doesn't only include university applied sciences. It includes all types of higher education institutions that have a profile of delivering applied, professional, practice-based education and research. So we call ourselves the voice of applied universities in Europe. And I think a very good illustration of that, the next slide, is exactly what we said at the beginning. What Hannes said is a university as large as Aix-Marseille has all types of profiles within its walls, and one of them is to provide the knowledge and skills for the local economy, in addition to being an internationally known, large, research-intensive university. And these are the words of the president himself just a couple of weeks ago, that universities have always been considered really to be about transmitting and generating knowledge, but it's actually no longer the case. It's also about skills, about helping SMEs in their regions in terms of absorbing and disseminating knowledge, not just generating it. And I think that's where EURASHE fits in the landscape of the higher education sector. So if we go on to the next slide, please. We currently up to about 76 members, to say, and these members are both associations and individual members, and all combined there is representing more than 500 higher education institutions in 32 countries. There's 3 different categories of members, but we'll explain that to you a bit later. Next slide. Yeah, just to say that the strategy is to become a reference point for a wide range of policymakers, because we think that our type of institutions contribute not only to the higher education sector, but to a many number of policies: research and innovation, regional development, employment, skills, industrial policy. And that's what we're aiming to do in our current strategy with the thematic priorities you can see on the right there. So next slide. What we do, I thought it would be easiest to explain to you across the 3 areas. For those of you who don't know too much about the European policy landscape, it's all organized around areas now. And the first area, the European higher education area, and in fact, I'm now in Budapest because I just, excuse me for any background noise, because I'm at the airport. I've just come back from a meeting of the Bologna follow-up group, because that is the group that implements the Bologna process within the European Education area. And we do that with colleagues from the students, quality assurance agencies, and also our partners in the European University Association, to have a very strong voice for the institutions as well as the member states to implement all the commitments around integration, mobility in the European higher education area. But it's going beyond that now, which I've just learned today, to actually impact on other types of what we do in terms of the curricula, in terms of students within countries, and many other issues. We're about to revise the European Standard and Guidelines for Quality Assurance. EURASHE is one of the authors. That's all part of the European higher education area. So the next area, please, next slide. Just to confuse everybody, there's also the European education area. Yeah? So the European higher education area, that is the EU and many other countries. The European education area is just the EU, just the European Union, and of course it doesn't just cover higher education, cover other areas of education, and they're trying increasingly to integrate that. And we can see that with the new commissioner who's in charge of education and skills, and I think we're linking things like vocational excellence in higher education. You'll have heard of some of the sort of flagship issues around the European education area, like the European University Alliance, is a Centre of Vocational Excellence, and that's all part of the European education area. We are a stakeholder of the Commission, and we feed into the interests of our members into the discussions, which ultimately influence the how the money is distributed. So it's an important growing issue is the European education area. Hannah's already mentioned the sounding board we have on the European University Alliances, and that will become more important as we go on into the discussions about how they will be funded in the long term and how new higher education institutions can join the alliances. So if we go on to the next slide, my third final area. So after the European higher education and the European education area, we have the European research area. This is something that has actually been around for 25 years, but only recently, in the last 5 years, have they, like the Bologna process, worked with stakeholders such as EURASHE and other representatives in the higher education sector. And so EURASHE is very much involved now in this too, as a stakeholder in what they call the ERA Forum, which is member state stakeholders. And within that, there are several activities, such as work around reforming research assessment, make sure that they look at the applied research that we do in our institutions, and such as this sort of group that's very important for our sector, which is accessing excellence. Of what excellence means and how all countries can access that. So they're the three areas. I thought that was just a good way of introducing what we do. If you could go to the next slide, please. So in addition to this kind of policy work, you may say, well, what's in it for me? Rather than just sending people like me off to Budapest to speak to the member states and the other people, what can I do? I mean, it's very important is that the members are involved, because that's also how we get our knowledge for when we go to these meetings. I also should add that some of these EU meetings, we use members, not just the secretariat, people like me, but we actually use members to attend meetings if they are able and have the time. So it's a real community. It's not just a secretariat or board of EURASHE. The community of practice that we have are around our three main activities: research, quality assurance, and skills. And these are open to anybody to join, members and non-members. But within the community, we have core groups, and they're really taking the issues forward in a more intense way. Those core groups are only open to members. So if you join EURASHE, you can actually be part of the sort of engine room of developing our project and policy on those issues. Next slide, please. Last thing I'm going to say before we pass over to so the members tell us what they think is the annual conference. This is an event that we put a lot of work into and has been increasing in size over the last few years. Certainly since I've been working for EURASHE, and there was more than 200 people at our last one in St. Pölten in Austria. This is the director for higher education, the Erasmus Plus program, speaking this year in Austria. And next year, as I already mentioned, the conference will be in Alentejo, the beautiful region of Alentejo in Portugal. And you're all very welcome to come, and that's the best way to get to know us and learn about not just in this 1 hour membership webinar, but really know what we're up to. And I should say, we'll mention the benefits of membership afterwards, but one of the benefits is you have a free ticket. This is starting next year, a free ticket to the annual conference, one per member. So there's no excuses to join us in Portugal. Right, so look, if we can, and I know that Maya is in charge of the slides. Before we go and do the video, Maya, I think we're going to listen to Marseille. Okay, we're going to listen to Marseille first, and then as an interlude between the two members, we'll have the video about Portugal. So, Céline, welcome. Céline Préel from Aix-Marseille said we were with you a couple of weeks ago, and we've chosen these two cases on purpose, one being a traditional sort of University of Applied Science and long-term member, that's coming from Lithuania, and Aix-Marseille being one of the new members that from a different type of institution. So thank you, Celine, for joining us today. And if you could put your slides up. Yeah, I don't know who's in charge, but there we go. It seems to be working. Thank you very much, Celine. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for this invitation on the seminar. It will actually echo with what you just said, so I'm glad of your presentation done. We basically have structured through three questions. First, a presentation of Aix-Marseille University. We are not a University of Applied Science, as you will see. We cover every disciplinary items. Why we join as members and why we decided to do that, what are the opportunities. So there are past opportunities, but also upcoming opportunities that we can already foresee. So first, we're French. You can probably hear it through my accent. So it's quite a large university. In terms of size, it's the largest university in France because it was a merger from three other universities in a local territory. There are 54 campuses. We are welcoming more than 80,000 students, and more than 10% are international students. And considering the number of students, we have a large number of staff, as you can read, 4,500 teacher researchers, and the difference, of course, is the administrative staff. So we have a map of the campus, but it's written in French, so you won't really care. But it's just that it's the local outreach is very, very important. So some of the campuses are up into the French Alps, actually. Then what I wanted to say is that it's a research-intensive university, but it's also very interdisciplinary. So we have specific institutes that are interdisciplinary. This university has a cluster of excellence. It's a program that many countries in Europe and outside Europe have been developing nationally. And what is interesting is that we cover 17 faculties, schools, or institutes, and you have the 5 disciplinary areas on the right. Because we are very much focused on skills and not only knowledge. I wanted to point out that among all the training programs, 127 of them are training programs for work placement. It's a specificity in France, apprenticeship, but it has, last year we had almost 4,000 students, and this year we have reached 4,000 students who follow a class, of course, and they also have a work placement. So depending on the program, the training program, it's 1 month at the university, 1 month in the company, or it's every 3 weeks. It really depends, but it's something we're focusing a lot on. And we are rooted in the socioeconomic area and the cultural partners. Very briefly, in terms of internationalization, for us, it's very important to have an internationalization outreach. So whether it's regional through the European University Alliance CIVIS that we're part of, but we also have a lot of many actions outside CIVIS. I'm sure you recognize Horizon Europe and Erasmus Plus in research and education. And also we are looking at networking opportunities, and this is where being a member of EURASHE is important to us. So this slide was before we became member. Different networks that serve different needs. I think it's very important. I think we'll be sharing the slides, so I won't go in detail, but if you want to learn more about our University Alliance, European University Alliance, you can go to the website. And so it has 11 European partners, but also an extension across Africa with 6 strategic partners and the museum network, which is the cultural aspect. When did we join? We joined very recently at the beginning of this year. Why? It fits with the EURASHE perspective, either to share best practice or to be part of communities of practice and contribute to capacity buildings, but also to share European policies and initiatives. So I won't spend time here because it's very similar to what John was saying. In terms of opportunity, in May this year, we had one of our researcher part of the he contributed to the position paper on open science and related to Quora. So that's very important for us to be able to voice our opinion and recommendation through networks. So this is what happened in this statement from EURASHE. More recently, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't remember. So there was an international seminar and site visit hosted at Marseille. So we have exactly the same picture, John, so that's a good sign. And it was interesting because it was a time to be able to exchange within the network and share best practice with a limited number of people. So it was very easy to talk to each other. And there were some interesting presentations from other universities. So I think it worked well on our side, at least. And upcoming, we're very interested in quality and quality policy because we're at a stage with Aix-Marseille University where we want to implement the 2030 vision through a quality policy. So I think we will be joining the quality assurance group. Thank you. Any questions? I don't know if I have time for questions. Actually.
Well, Celine, thank you very much. It's that's exactly what we asked you to do, is give a brief overview. I know it's there's much more that people are not able to ask questions, let's say out loud, because we've got a lot to get through in the webinar, but you are very welcome, if you have a question, to write it in the chat, and Celine can respond there or later. And you know, don't hesitate to leave your email addresses and things like this if you want to be contacted. Yes, so what I'll do is first play you this, if we can, this short video about our annual conference next year, and then I will talk about the benefits of membership. So go on, please.
In 2025, the Porto Alegre Polytechnic University, located in the heart of Alentejo in Portugal, will have the honor of hosting the 34th EURASHE Annual Conference 2025. Porto Alegre, known by its rich historical, cultural and natural heritage, ranging from imposing monuments to impressive landscapes, big mountains and plains, this city offers a unique experience to its visitors. Offering a great learning environment, the Porto Alegre Polytechnic University is one of the most prestigious higher education institutions in the region. Get ready for an unforgettable experience in Porto Alegre at the 2025 EURASHE Annual Conference. We look forward to seeing you.
Yes, so this is, I'm very excited about this conference next year, because it's a beautiful region, and it is a rural region, and you know, something I did mention in my introduction. Although we're looking at education and research, we're looking, I think I did mention it actually, we're looking also at regional development, and it's very much part of the vocation of applied universities to help their regions. So this is a little bit further to get to, but we're providing transport from Lisbon Airport directly to Porto Alegre, and you won't regret it if you come and you're speaking to somebody who knows Portugal very well. So I will now go on to talk about the main benefits. So I'm addressing now not only potential new members, but also our existing members, in terms of, are you getting the most out of your EURASHE membership? And if you could put the slide on, please, I can go through it with you. Okay, yes, and the next one. Here, yeah. Okay, so why join EURASHE, or why stay in EURASHE? Because of course, if you join, you're very welcome to leave if it's not going to be something that is a benefit to you. But I think it is if you just engage with us. So I said the first thing is this is a natural thing to say, but it's about promoting your institution, not just amongst each other to get partners, but also with policymakers. We work with policymakers here and funding agencies, and it's very good that we have a special page for each of our members that promotes what you're doing. So that will be one of the reasons. I mean, I think the other reason, and it's something that involves all of us, it's not just about our individual institutions, but it's important that we raise the profile of the applied sciences collectively. You know, and the more we can work together, the more we can show how important that is. So that's really a reason to join. I mentioned about policy, and you think that I'm far away from Brussels, it's got nothing to do with me. It's not true. There are many opportunities to be involved in shaping European level policies, which are increasing in education now, as well as research. And as I mentioned, you're welcome to actually participate many of the meetings, we're a fairly small secretariat and we can't cover all the meetings. And you can actually come, many of which are reimbursed as well by the European Commission. So if you're interested in any of the policy areas, please just get in touch and we can talk about it. The only thing we ask is that you're committed to the job. You don't just go to one meeting and give up. And if you've got time on your hands over a good period of months, as a EURASHE member, we can nominate you to be involved in working groups such as in the European Higher Education area. As I mentioned, I just got back from, well, not about on the way back from the BFUG meeting, the Bologna follow-up group. And within that, there are 10 or 11 subgroups ranging for things like the mobility, the social dimension, fundamental values. Now I've got one on the future of Bologna, qualifications, recognition, all these issues that are affecting us. We can actually nominate you to these working groups if you're interested in being involved. So that is a reason to join. Another is that if you're very ambitious, you can become part of the board of EURASHE and actually make decisions for the association. Hannes is the president, but there are 9 members of the board, and we have elections next year in Porto Alegre. There'll be in January a call for board members. As I also already mentioned, the commuter practice we have, they are open to all, to anyone who's interested, whether they're a member of EURASHE or not. But we do have a small core group of members who take these commuters forward, and you can join those if you're a member of EURASHE. Then on a more personal level, of course, your institutions will benefit and will pay for your membership. By the way, if you want information about things like membership fees, you can find it on our website or contact us. There's a page where it details all that. But for you as individuals, I think that it will help your own learning and development in your careers, and that's something which many people have benefited from over the years. And then I'm almost finished, but I think obviously one of the things that most people think about when they talk about the European Union is funding, and there is an increasing amount of funding for higher education institutions, whether it's from the research innovation program that's going to, well, at least we hope, double in size for the next period, to the Erasmus program that is also increasing in size, or the cohesion policy, where we'll be negotiating the programs shortly. That also includes things like Interreg, which is regional cooperation, the cooperation in innovation, in interregional innovation partnerships. There's many relevant funding programs, and I think by being involved in EURASHE, and that leads me to my last point, you'll meet the people who can help you access that funding, because you can't do any of this on your own. I think the only funding program that really is for individuals and individual institutions is the European Research Council, that is for mainly basic blue skies research that many of our members don't do anyway. All the other parts of the program, of the research and education program, involve a consortium, involve bringing people together around certain issues, and to do that, EURASHE is a great place to meet partners. So that's a summary of why I think people may wish to join EURASHE. I'm going to pass you over to Maya, who is our executive officer and also deals with new members, and she'll explain to you what the different categories of membership are and how to apply to be a member. Maya, please.
Hello from me as well. So speaking about the categories of EURASHE memberships, the EURASHE members are divided on 3 main categories: the full members, the affiliate members, and the associate members. First, about the full membership, of EURASHE. They are national associations of higher education institutions without the EHEA, the European Higher Education Area, that are recognized by their national authorities. Also, they have recognized the quality. They are quality assured higher education institutions within EHEA, as I mentioned. So the full members have a right to vote at our General Assembly meetings, to nominate candidates for the board, and also stand for the elections. The full members they play a key role in the decision-making process in EURASHE, and it's also this membership category ensures full involvement in shaping EURASHE's future and the broader higher education landscape. Speaking about the affiliate members, they are members who are outside of EHEA, or they are from EHEA area, from European higher education area, but they don't meet all the criteria for the full memberships. They are international they can be international associations of higher education institutions as well. They are also eligible to be our affiliate members, and but they don't have a right to vote on the General Assembly or to nominate candidates for the board. In any case, they can still be engaged in EURASHE networks. They can attend our events and so on. Speaking about the associate members, the associate members of EURASHE are, so this is a membership category which is open to any legal entity. There is no higher education institution or association in higher education institutions, but has an interest in professional higher education, and and supports the vision of EURASHE. The associate members don't have rights to vote as well in the General Assembly or to nominate candidates in the board, but this could be organizations that are aligned with EURASHE's missions and support the goals of EURASHE. About the application procedure. The application procedure, the required documents to submit the application procedure to become a EURASHE member, it's a completed application form. Also, they need to submit a proof of legal existence, and also the proof of external quality assurance. That is mandatory for the full members. After that, the applications are reviewed by the board of EURASHE on a monthly basis. Also, for the acceptance, it's important that the first membership fee is paid, and we are offering also some discounts. And for the first year, we are calculated the membership fee on a pro rata basis. It depends on the amount of joining. If somebody has some questions about.
Yeah, no, that's great, Maya, and questions are welcome. Also, as said, directly to us. There is a 50% discount on the first year of membership, and you said you get the free ticket to the annual conference. This is a way of welcoming you and showing you what we have to offer. I think it's important for new members to feel welcome. So anyway, this is the last thing we're going to say. I think it's the Secretariat. We will have one more member testimonial, and that is from Nikoli Zinkevičienė from Lithuania, from Vilnius University of Applied Science, Vilnius Kolegija, it's called in Lithuanian. And I think Nikoli is here. You can tell us what you've had from your EURASHE membership over the years. I know that you've been a long-serving member, Nikoli.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
I'm very sorry for my blue face on the screen. I'm in a noisy environment. A regional business forum has just ended, so some people are still here. So if you hear some additional noise, please try not to pay attention. It's a big pleasure for me to share my insights and my thoughts about the significance of EURASHE and the advantages of being its member. In preparation for this webinar, I had long interviews with two very important people in Lithuanian professional higher education. These are the former rectors of the two biggest colleges in Lithuania, Gintautas Bražiūnas, who has been also vice president of EURASHE, and Mindaugas Misiūnas. And after long talks, they told me so many nice things and interesting things. I came to the conclusion that maybe it would be a good idea to collect these memories from the people who stood at the roots of EURASHE, because we really have colorful memories and really they had, some of them really had to take a long and very hard way to establish and consolidate professional higher education in some European countries. So both directors said that they learned about EURASHE when Lithuania didn't have a binary higher education system. And today's professional higher education institutions then were the so-called advanced schools, which were intermediate somewhere between higher and vocational education. But in spite of this, in 1995, the association of these Lithuanian advanced institutions became a member of the EURASHE, because in the discussions with the EURASHE leaders, it turned out that the programs and the objectives were very close to the programs of the European professional higher institutions at that time. So we were first acknowledged in higher education on the European level than at home. And also both directors said that if it were not for EURASHE, we would probably not have professional higher education sector in Lithuania today. EURASHE presidency and the board people visited Lithuania several times. They had discussions with the government, with the representatives of the Ministry of Education and Science, the business representatives, and have been a decisive voice in proving that such a sector was really needed, was promising and necessary for Lithuania. So therefore, for many years, we have been very loyal to EURASHE, and that's why we are really quite active, I should say. Talking about the benefits of EURASHE membership, I think that they were very well disclosed by John, but I will tell you some really the most important aspects that we value. First of all, it's advocacy and representation, as EURASHE actively advocates for professional higher education institutions at the European level, representing their interest in EU policies and strategies related to higher education, research and innovation. So members also have access to European level decision-making bodies, providing opportunities to influence policies and initiatives that impact higher education. We value greatly, and next advantage is networking opportunities. EURASHE brings together not only professional higher education institutions, but well, universities, and now businesses too. So these relations enable members to collaborate, share best practices, and engage in joint projects with peers across Europe. Through EURASHE, institutions can reach globally and achieve partnerships not only in Europe but beyond, promoting academic and professional exchange. Capacity building. EURASHE offers trainings, workshops, and seminars to improve the capabilities of higher education institutions, particularly in the areas of modern educational practices, quality assurance, research and innovation, leadership, and many more. And you heard today about the communities of practice. I think these groups of people are really groups of professionals. We have we hosted one of the community of practice last spring. That was research community of practice, and very soon in October we will have another community of practice in Vilnius, the quality group. So having these groups of professionals, best professionals of professional higher education, is really benefit for any higher education institution. Also, access to European projects and funding. EURASHE members are often involved in collaborative European projects funded by the European Union, which provide resources and opportunities for innovation, research, and academic exchange. Our last project with EURASHE was the so-called RECAFA, that was about enhancing researchers' capacities in professional higher education. And I should say that the framework, the competence, researchers' competence framework that we worked out appeared long before they worked out the European researchers' competence framework. So I think that this project was and still is very beneficial for professional higher education institutions. Membership in EURASHE enhances institutions' visibility and reputation, for sure, within Europe and beyond, and also in your country. Right now, the Minister of Education of Lithuania and other bodies really know that we belong, we as association of rectors and also separate institutions, we belong to EURASHE. So very often they consult us, they ask us about what's going on the European professional higher education level, because EURASHE gives the context. Members have the opportunity to present at EURASHE organized events and contribute to its publications and be involved in research that increases their institutional profile. I should say that our annual conferences are of very high level and bring together more and more participants every year. I could talk and talk about the benefits, because I think that EURASHE now is the most influential association in Europe of professional higher education. So my advice to those who are still hesitating about whether to join EURASHE or not, I would say that if you want to be on a joint European professional higher education platform, where a wide number of national associations of professional higher education institutions and single institutions seek to improve their quality, expand their network, and stay at the forefront of European professional higher education, you have to join, and you are very welcome on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Well, that was fantastic, and it shows how long the Lithuanian colleges have been in EURASHE and how much you got out of it. I mean, I would just conclude by saying, and it's good that we're ahead of time anyway. It's Friday afternoon now, so we're winding down. But what I would say is whether this is to existing members or new members, just to repeat what the president said at the beginning. It's about being actively involved as a member, not just being a member. And I would even say to people who are thinking of becoming a member, but they don't have the resources to engage, then I would recommend not joining. We don't want members really who don't want to engage, because we won't be able to provide you the value that we want to provide to all members. And so any suggestions you have of activities that we can do, you don't have to be on the board to make suggestions. You can say in the General Assembly, you can write to me, but also for your own institution. You know what? You just tell me what are your current interests, concerns, needs, and we'll do the best we can to help you. But we won't know what that is unless we hear from you, because we can't read minds. We can't. We need to. We need to hear from you. So, on that, I would just like to conclude and thank again our speakers, Celine and Nicole, for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. We have our General Assembly on the 7th of October, where we are addressing some important issues. We also have the European Commission joining us that day from the Director General for Research and Innovation, the Deputy Head of Unit from the unit responsible for the ERA Forum that I mentioned earlier, to explain how EURASHE can get more out of the European research area. So we look forward to seeing many of you then. It's online and in person. We'll even see some of you in Brussels at our office, and let's go forward together and have a bigger impact together. So yeah, thank you again. Have a good weekend and see you soon. Bye bye.